All right, Coach, let's start talking about last week's game at West Virginia State. You guys fell behind early once again. What happened in the locker room? How did you respond and come out so well in the third quarter?
I think our guys just adapted well to the adjustments we were making. It was more them than anything else. I mean, we changed a few things defensively and made a few adjustments on offense as far as some blocking stuff. But if you look at the first half, we were really hurting ourselves more than State was doing stuff to us. We were having a few penalties that hurt us, and a few key situations, some mental errors by a couple guys that really, in situations that couldn't have happened. So we went in the second half, or we went in at halftime. We just talked about taking care of ourselves and not making those dumb mistakes. And we did a lot better in the second half. Our defense showed up, and we were able to start off the second half enough to give us a lead. We were a little disappointed the way we finished the game, especially offensively, with not being able to score more points there, having the turnovers that we got. But overall, I thought we played pretty well in the second half. And anytime you start the season off with a win, especially on the road against a State team that's pretty good, they had 20 starters back just like we do. So it was a lot of experience on the field, and I thought our guys just played harder a little bit longer than they did.
Now, you had one guy step up on the defensive end in particular. Quincy had a great game. But then you also had some players step up that, just new guys, whether it was Andre Hill, Lawrence King. Talk to me about their impact coming into day one.
Both very talented kids out of high school. We recruited them hard because we kind of thought that they were able to do the stuff they did Saturday, and we weren't surprised by it. We just it was their time to kind of step up and make plays, and they were in situations that they were able to get open and be, the target for that specific situation. And when they had their name called, they answered it. And it's you have to go back to our O-line and the running game. When we were able to get the ball moving a little bit on the ground, that stuff started opening up, and Coop played pretty well. So overall, I think we were happy about the whole offensive unit, not so much about those young freshmen, but they did a good job whenever it was their time.
Was all their receptions a result of play calls and schemes, or was it more Fabian and Brandon attracting attention and those guys maybe going under the radar?
Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with Fabian and Brandon on the other side of the field. I mean, all day long they were playing two guys over top of Fabian, so we were getting one-on-one matchups to the boundary, and we were taking advantage of it. I think that, like I said, Coop did a good job. We did a good job protecting and picking up some blitzes, giving us time to throw over there. But again, it was a total team effort. When we're talking to the team, we're watching film after the game, and you go back to, well, look at her clouding everything to Fabian. So when those guys had a chance, they were making plays.
Fabian's a guy who can make big plays, and he can go out there and really produce. How's he buying into the role of, obviously not a decoy, but taking so much of the attention and letting other guys step up and make the plays? How's he adapting to doing that?
I think we all understand that, our offense is built on a way where they're going to leave somebody open, or they're going to leave somebody in a matchup that we like. And whenever it's his time to be the guy who they think they can match up one-on-one, then we know he's going to be there. He showed that over the last 3 years. So I don't really think that it's too much of an issue. I don't think that, matter of fact, it hasn't even came up. So it's kind of one of those things where, we're all out there, and whoever time it is, we're going to make a play. And when it's his time, it's going to be his time. I mean, he's had a lot of big plays and done a lot of things here in the last 3 years. So people know who he is, and they're probably going to do that a little bit. And sooner or later, they're going to figure out they can't, we hope, and when it's his time to make a play, we're pretty confident he will.
Terrell Charles in the backfield had a very, very strong game, 26 or 132. How is he developing into maybe the role of the primary ball carrier?
It started back about week 3 or 4 last year. You saw it was almost like he just caught up to the speed, and he ran the ball extremely hard downhill starting last year, and he picked it right up where he left off. We lost him the last 2 games last year. There was a big decline in our offense, especially when you're looking at 2 and 3 backs going in the game. Last year we had Austin, but after him it was James, who was still inexperienced in situations. So when Terrell went out last year, it was really an issue for us. And to get him back, to see him running again, we were really excited about the way he played. He played a very unselfish game. Yeah, you could see the stats for the carries and the yards, but what you don't see in the box scores is protection and the other things that he was doing unselfishly during the game that really made a difference.
Let's look forward a little bit to Concord. They had very, very efficient win last week. Their quarterback, Novak, he's on the brink of all these school records.
Right.
21 of 28, 231.
Yeah.
He didn't get sacked at all.
Right.
What do you guys have to do to slow down that Concord offense?
You know, for them, they're always going to be guys. They're always going to be a team that wants to run the football. You know, even when Guerin was there, you know, they built a lot of it on the running game. Brian's a very good quarterback. Seems like he's been there for 10 years. I get tired of seeing him every time we play them. So I'm excited this is the last time we have to see him. But like you said, I mean, he's put up tons of numbers. He's been there. He's played a lot of football. He's been there for a long time. You know, I think for us, it's going to be more slowing them down than trying to really stop them. I mean, they're very good up front on both sides of the ball. And with him in the backfield, you know, it doesn't matter who's running around outside. They're going to find ways to get the ball to receivers, and he's going to make good decisions. So for us, you know, we're just trying to slow them down a little bit and hope that we can keep them off the field as much as possible. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be a really good game.
They also run the ball, like you alluded to. They run the ball very well. Second in the MEC after week 1 with 180 yards. Do you have any particular way you're going to play the defense, maybe to stop the run or key on anything like that?
Well, I don't really think you can because of Novak and Dowse on the outside of receivers. You know, those guys can score. They can throw it over your head. So, you know, it's really a pick your poison type of situation. You can't really get into anything where you're focusing totally on the run, and you can't get anything where you're dropping guys in the coverage because they're going to do a good job of both. So, again, it's just going to be playing balanced, taking care of your job, and, you know, just playing football for the entire game and not really focusing on the last play. Let's start looking forward to the next play.
Between yourself and Concord, going back the last 7 years,
yeah,
you guys are without a win. What do you have to, in losing by 18 on average, what do you have to do is this the team to break that streak, do you think?
I mean, we'll find out. You know, you never know until game day. You know, we talk a lot about not talking about what you're going to do, but just doing it. And they're going to come in here ready to play. I mean, they have a lot of wins under their belt. They have a lot of experience, especially, like I said, up front on both sides of the ball. It's going to be a very, very big challenge for us to come out and play well. And you know, we hope it's that year. We think we have a pretty good team, but we've only played one game, so still, you know, we don't know for sure. We're going to see what happens when they get here, and we'll buckle it on a little bit and let it fly and see what happens.
Looking back at last year's game, Concord held Cooper to about 143 yards through the air,
right.
And defensively, Novak didn't really get much pressure. He wasn't sacked the whole game, and he was very efficient once again. How does the experience that your guys up front have built, maybe getting some more pressure and hurrying him, how do you think that's going to improve this season?
Well, you know, I thought it was better last week. I thought that we did a good job of pressuring State, you know, and it's something that we worked on all summer and all spring, was getting more pressure on the quarterback, obviously. But I think that for them to be in the game already with the guys we have played against Concord last year, they're a little bit more familiar with the guys that they have. That may come into play a little bit, but you know, we may have to pressure or do something if that's the case to get some heat on him and maybe try to get him out of a comfort zone. But you know, if you look over his career, they've done a really good job of protecting him since he's been there, and a lot of that's because of their running game. When they can run the ball and play action, you know, that standing back there in the pocket's a lot easier than just dropping back on every single play and letting the other team blitz you all the time. So I think that's going to be the key again, is, you know, just taking care of our responsibilities and doing our job against the run and the pass. And if we can beat a one-on-one, then we're going to try. But you know, it's just tough with their offense to really get any pressure on him anyways.
Who do you think some key players for your team are going to be?
I think, you know, obviously we've got to be able to run the ball, so our offensive line is going to be important, all of them. We've got to be able to slow down the run. So on both sides, offense and defensive line are always the key. And Coop needs to come out and play well. I mean, I think that he played okay against State, but he knows he can be a little bit better. And you know, if anybody, I mean, I guess it would be them. But we really focus on all 11 on both sides of the ball at every play. There's not really one person we have anything special schemed up that, hey, you do this, we win. I mean, it's just not the way we do it. So I think it'll be overall just both sides taking care of their job.
You excited to play in front of the home fans?
Yeah, I am. I'm ready to get back out here on the field, and you know, first game at home is always a little special, and should be a good time. Should be good weather, and we're looking forward to it.